Hello, my name is Samuel Ladipupo. Welcome to another episode of Divo Inspires. Today I want to talk about dealing with problems, and our anchor text is going to be from the book of Mark chapter 4 verse 39. Mark 4:39. The Bible says there that then he arose and he rebuked the wind and he said to the sea, "Peace, be still." And the wind ceased and there was a great calm. Now, there are several inevitabilities in life, and one of those are problems or challenges or difficulties, offenses, whatever adjectives is the situation. And Jesus already made us understand that these things are inevitable. They must always come. Luke 17 verse 1. Now, where you channel your energy or your resources determines how fast you get out of problems or what you get out of problems. Now, in the scripture we read, Mark chapter 4 verse 39, in the previous verses, the Bible makes us understand that the disciples were trying so hard to deal with the wind, with the sea rather, because in verse 37 of Mark chapter 4, verse 37 Mark chapter 4, the Bible says there that the sea was beating hard against the boat and was trying to get into the boat and was getting into the boat. Now, I imagine that the disciples were, trying so hard to get the water out, but they kept filling it back, or they kept, filling the boat back. And when it got to a point where they couldn't deal with it anymore, they decided to bring Jesus into the scene. Now, when Jesus wakes up, he addresses the situation in a totally different manner. The Bible says there that he first rebuked the wind, the source, and then he addressed the sea, the problem. Now, that tells me that left alone, the sea is as calm as it can get. But with the input of the wind, it becomes a problem. So remember what we said earlier, that where you channel your energy or your resources to determines how fast you get out of a problem and what you get out of a problem. So a man who is having challenges with his wife and decides that the best way to subdue her is to beat her. Now, you get to subdue the woman, but you lose your wife. So going by the example of Jesus, the first thing we need to do when dealing with problems is to understand the source of the problem. And that is something I always like to do when I face challenges. I try to understand why. Why is this happening? What is going on? Now let me share this with you. I remember a few years back when I lost my phone and my wallet in 1 week. And I began to search myself. I searched my spirit deep, like, God, this isn't normal. What's going on? Now, after thinking deeply about it, I got to realize that I had been keeping my tithe in the house for a while. Not that I was spending it, but I was just piling it up in the house and forgetting to take it to church. Now, the moment I realized that I didn't have to wait till Sunday, I took it straight to church and paid my tithe. About a day or two after, I got a call from a bus driver that he found my wallet in his bus. And the following week, I got a new phone. Now, the alternative to that would have been me praying against the loss of property. But that would have been an exercise in futility. So when problems or challenges come, try to understand why they have come. What is the source of the problem? What is the wind that is causing the sea to blow so greatly at you? Because if you happen to be the problem, you have to make necessary changes to that. Try to understand also whether the devil could be the source of the problem. The Bible says in Ephesians chapter 6 verse 12, Ephesians 6 verse 12, the Bible makes us understand there that we are not to channel our energy fighting our spouse, our child, our relatives, our boss, or the government, but rather we are to focus it on fighting principalities and powers and spiritual wickedness in high places. I remember seeing the movie War Room. The moment the lady changed the focus of her battle, she began to win. Also, try to understand whether the problem, whether the source is from God, because Joseph knew that where to focus his energy was not going to be on his brothers, but rather on what God wanted him to be. So the success of your faith is tied to your understanding. There's a scripture I love so much, Daniel chapter 10 verse 12, Daniel 10:12. The angel said to Daniel that the moment you set your heart to understand and to humble yourself before God, your prayers were answered. So the moment we set to understand what the problem is, we already have victory. So where you channel your energy, where you channel your resources, determines where that you get out of the problem fast and what you get out of the problem. So seek to understand what the source is, deal with the source of the problem, and you will always be guaranteed victory. Stay blessed.